Hello, I am a black cat, which means I am evil, and this episode is sponsored by petco.com/laugh, where you can save 10% and get free shipping on pet goodies. You should get some.
Hey, junkies. The Director of Doom here with another Video Friday Fix. We have one last interview from the ANCESTOR tour today. It is out of Boston, Massachusetts on a show called The Literati Scene. And when Scott was there in June, he sat down with host Dick Concannon and talked about writing and ANCESTOR and the author game. And there is also a quick appearance by the producer of the show, who has the fantastic name Smokey Bacon. You will know her. She is the one in the glasses who has the fantastic name Smokey Bacon. Are you kidding me? Best name ever. And I wanted to remind you also to keep your eye on the Friday Fix feed for the next 6 to 8 weeks. We've got a ton of stuff coming down the pike. We've got news about audiobooks and news about ebooks, just in time for Christmas. We've got a new Podiobooks launch. We've got some graphics to show you. We've got news about JunkieCon. We'll talk to you all real soon. Peace out, junkies.
Literati Scene with Smokey Bacon and Dick Concannon and co-host Joanna DiTillo from the Pairings Restaurant in the Boston Park Plaza Hotel, so please stay tuned.
My guest today is Scott Sigler, whose latest work is Ancestors. Scott, this book, which we have right here, is a good hardcover novel, but it had a checkered past in getting there. Tell us about that.
Well, I started out, I first made this book available to the public as a recorded audiobook. I recorded it myself, serialized it, kind of emulating the radio dramas of the 40s and 50s, because I'd spent 10 years trying to get published, couldn't get published. I'm like, forget this, I'll just give it right to the people. And that generated about 20 or 30,000 listeners, and so that was given away free as an audiobook. Then a couple years later, in April 1st, 2007, we put it out as a trade paperback from a very small Canadian imprint called Dragon Moon Press. And due to the audience I had built up online, it was #1 in horror, #1 in sci-fi, and the #7 book overall on Amazon, with no media support, no advertising, no public relations, and no coverage. So that was kind of, if you will, a wake-up call to the New York publishers, and they saw that and went, wow, if this guy can do it on his own, let's see what we can do if we work together. So that landed me my book deal.
Well, look, success.
Yes, sir.
Let me say also you're dealing with sci-fi, you're dealing with biochemical, you're dealing with computers in a big way. But in the overall story here, tell us, are we on the right road or not in trying to accelerate Mother Nature?
This is one of those stories where science goes horribly wrong. So it's a rollicking summer blockbuster. It's very much a James Cameron movie in book form. If you like Aliens, if you like Predator, movies along those lines, you're just going to love this book. So I take the science to a very scary level, but we're really totally on the right track. The focal point of this book is a process called xenotransplantation, which is taking animal organs and using them to replace failing human organs, which we're fairly close to being able to perfect, and if we do, it'll save millions of lives every year. So that is the real good hard science that I've taken and kind of shifted into a very scary novel, but we're definitely on the right road, yeah.
Tell me, geographically, you've kept us in very cold climes.
Yes.
Is that your own personal experience?
Well, this is set in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where I grew up very close to there and spent a lot of time in the Upper Peninsula. A very unique culture, people called the Yoopers, Yoopers, with their own accent, a lot of Scandinavian influence. So this book is set in that area, and it's always cold there. You get about 2 weeks of spring, and the rest of the time it's winter, so it's freezing.
Many of your characters in here have a very specific military knowledge, both in the ammunition and gun area, and also tactics. And again, is that your experience?
No, I have absolutely no experience in that area. By giving away the books online for free as audiobooks, I've been incredibly fortunate to get a lot of people who like the stories and then email me to say, I happen to be an expert in small unit tactics and served 3 tours in Iraq. Do you need any help with weapons? Do you need help with tactics? And of course I do. And then I also get people who specialize in aviation, and most importantly, I have 3 biology PhDs who all just volunteered to read my stuff ahead of time to make sure it's as accurate and as plausible as it can be. So I have no background in any of those areas. I just kind of collate all these experts together and put them into a supernatural thriller story.
One last question is that the role that you are setting up here seems to be very positive, but it runs amok. In your next novel, are you going to straighten us out and get us moving in the right direction?
Well, the focal point of what I do is I want people to read this book and become lost and immersed in the story and totally separate from their normal lives for however long it takes them to read the book. It's wonderful to give, I'm able to educate people on a lot of things that they get done with the book, find out most of it is real, and they're like, I had no idea we could do that. So I get to do a lot of science education in the book, but the bottom line, it's a thriller. I'm there to get your pulse rate up and to scare the crap out of you, and that's the focal point. So we don't always get things straightened out, no.
Tell us about your website.
Website is scottsigler.com. That's SCOTTSIGLER.com. If you want to see the trailer for this, very cinematic, go to scottsigler.com/ancestor, watch the trailer, and I guarantee you will know whether you want to buy this book or not as soon as you watch the trailer.
Well, what do you have next for us?
The next book out will be Pandemic, and that'll be out Halloween of 2011.
And it is what?
That is,
it's
the same, hard science horror thriller. That is the 3rd book in the trilogy, Infected and Contagious, which are already in stores, and then Pandemic will be the climax of that trilogy. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on, sir. I appreciate it.
From the Pairings Restaurant at the Boston Park Plaza Hotel, this has been the Literati Scene with Smokey Bacon and Dick Kincannon and co-host Joanna DiTillo.